It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
End of the year coming, I'm posted like Tim Duncan. Teaching niggas how to grow they shit like it's Teen Summit. Teaching niggas how to talk to me, I don't hear nothing. You red pill rappers about to fall from the red button. This chair comfy, need real money. Let me find out you industry niggas is Ted Bundy. Let me find out, let me wind down. Take some time out to calculate the weight I clear monthly. USD to them pounds, feet deep in the ground. Stand firm like your whole shit for $200. I'm big worm, switch the game up to help y'all score. Dave Stern try to box me in Martin. I treat him like T. Hearns. Got a baby doing 5 weeks. Made it through my juvenile hell, was bumping Mob Deep. Homies in them 2-man cells struggle to find sleep. We ain't talking Casa, we don't talk like barbershops. Circumvent the streams, we taking it back to mom and pop. Distribution, pick and choosing for the institution. Niggas losing, y'all can check the units. They say the internet level, the plan failed. I say they made you confident and racing with your training wheels. Fuck 'em rapping for if I can't pay a cable bill. Fuck 'em rapping for if I can't even say what's real. How you say you independent with a major deal? Niggas fell in love with the lies. I see how shady feel.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there on this Wednesday evening. Now, in this video, we're going to be getting into the update that just came through in terms of Drake and UMG's ongoing litigation. Of course, Drake is suing UMG for damages of defamation, harassment, all these different things, all surrounding Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us and their support of Kendrick Lamar with Not Like Us, not stalling it out, not, taking it down or making Kendrick, change the majority of the song to where it would be a little bit more befitting to his liking, of course. We've been talking about the paperwork that's been filed. We've been talking about Drake's request for discovery. We've been talking about UMG's resistance to that very discovery because they have not been wanting to share intimate details about Kendrick Lamar's contract or any artist under contract for UMG. However, it was ruled today in their pretrial hearing that the motion for, UMG's stay for discovery motion has been denied, meaning that Drake does get a bit of a win here. All right. Meaning that the discovery process will in fact begin. Drake has to go ahead and, file his amended complaint. And shout out to ABSA because she said that UMG's stay for discovery will be denied. She also said that their file for dismissal will be denied, and to expect that and not to be outraged by all of that. I saw that a couple of days ago. Somebody sent it to me in my comments, and she was right. Now, what we do have, because the docket has not been updated, is we have Megan Cuniff, who's come out and spoke about this because she received an email from Drake's legal team celebrating this temporary victory. We've got the OVO docket page, which of course is a Drake Stan page, but they've been keeping some tabs on this ongoing thing, on this ongoing matter, and they have some specifics from the hearing that have been released to the public. And I also have another journalist who was present at the hearing today by the name of, he goes by Inner City Press on social media, and he has actual direct quotes from the courtroom surrounding the judge's ruling on this stay for discovery. So this will proceed. Drake will have to receive some sort of, documentation to see the promotion of Not Like Us, to see the communications around that song, all of those different things. That doesn't necessarily mean that the judge is going to rule in his favor. However, UMG is going to have to prepare for the long game. I hope they have been while they've been trying to resist it. I'm quite sure they were just trying to get this tossed and not have to go through the full process, but I would believe that they've been preparing, for it to go either way. Company that big, they've been known to get motherfuckers squashed. So we'll just have to see how things go, which means that we're going to be in for quite a show. You know what I'm saying? Because I think once they start deposing people and all of this stuff starts getting released to the public, it's gonna be a messy situation, which ultimately is just gonna create a whole lot of conversation for us to have over here about this situation, man. So we're just gonna have to see. All right. Before we start pulling up what these people are saying online, I just want to give y'all a quick update because I told y'all that I had been in contact with people affiliated with Chapo. It looks like we are getting much closer to getting that interview together. I've actually spoken directly to Chapo as of this morning. So y'all stay tuned within the next, whatever his schedule has an opening. We'll get it done. We'll get it up and, try to chop game as much as we can, within the legal constraints and the things that he may have on paperwork that he can't discuss. But we're going to try to get as much information about his career, his journey in music, and, what he's contributed to along his tenure in the game that can be talked about. All right. So just bear with me. We're trying to get it lined up, but going to make sure that his schedule permits. But let's get into this whole Drake UMG situation. So the first thing we have here, this was uploaded by Megan Cuniff. This is an email that she received from Drake's legal team. They're reaching out, sending this press release out there because they want people to know that they are gunning for UMG and that the judge, kind of sided in their favor today. So this is statement from Drake's attorney on judge denying UMG's motion to stay discovery, New York. At a pretrial conference this morning in New York, Judge Jeanette Vargas ruled that Drake's legal team can begin the discovery process, which is likely to include deposing key executives and requesting document production. The move comes in response to UMG's request that the court delay discovery. That motion has now been denied. In response to today's rulings, Drake's lead attorney, Michael Gottlieb, partner at Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, issued the following statement. Now it's time to see what UMG was so desperately trying to hide. Okay? So they're making it seem as though UMG was trying to hide, as if they have some sort of nefarious conduct that they've been trying to cover up behind the scenes, that there is some sort of, conspiracy to take Drake down or make him look bad or devalue him or to completely ruin his career while advocating for Kendrick Lamar. That's what they believe. And they want to see what type of paperwork they can find, conversations that they can find, email interaction they can find that can confirm what it is that they think, right? Now, on my last video talking about the subject, I had a couple folks that were wondering, like, what is Drake's end game? Is he asking for money? What type of money is he asking for? Well, he absolutely wants money. However, we don't know how much money that's going to be. That's why we've had people like Maul that have come out and say that this could be a multi-billion-dollar type of situation or multiple hundreds of millions of dollars in settlement type of thing. There still has been no talks of settlement. That has not been discussed. That's not on the table as of right now. Again, anybody that tells you that sort of thing is a fucking liar. But what we do have on the table is Drake wants to dig around and find out what's going on. He wants to see, of course, the receipts. He's going to want to see any promotional payments that have been made. He's going to want to see any marketing dollars that have been spent. And he's going to try to spin the narrative that all of this was not for the song Not Like Us, for the betterment of Kendrick, but for the destruction of Drake. Okay? So that's how they're positioning this whole thing. That's why they say now it's time to see what UMG was so desperately trying to hide. And of course, they'll also be digging into those copyright lifts that they did on Not Like Us and the other songs in the battle. Even Drake's songs got copyright lifted, so that's interesting to me. But they're going to want to see if they communicated with any of the streamers or any of the people that they listed in the original. But again, Drake is going to have to file a amended complaint, which means that his previous lawsuit will no longer stand. He will have to redraft a new version, and I believe that there have already been some agreements on things to be taken out. The payola thing is supposed to be taken out, but something tells me he's not going to change that part. I just don't see it happening, but we will see very shortly. Next up, we have the OVO docket here, and they have their overview of today's pretrial conference. So this is going to give you a little bit more insight as to what's going on, right? So they say Judge Vargas denied UMG's motion to stay discovery. UMG filed this motion aiming to delay discovery in the New York defamation lawsuit a second time. UMG argued that Drake's lawsuit lacks merit. The discovery process would cause burden for them, and delaying discovery would not harm Drake. Judge Vargas disagreed. Discovery will now move forward. The hearing for UMG's motion to dismiss Drake's New York lawsuit is set for June 30th, 2025. So we're going to have another update of a hearing on June 30th. That's going to be very interesting to see how that goes, right? At this hearing, Judge Vargas will hear arguments for or against the motion to dismiss, then make a ruling. Okay? We learned that Drake's legal team is planning to depose 56 people. 56 people will be named and sit for depositions, and those 56 people will consist of executives from UMG and many others, okay? Drake's legal team expected to complete discovery in October of 2025. Judge Vargas stated this is an aggressive deadline, and she would like Drake's team to set a new deadline. So, we'll get there because, again, we have direct quotes coming from Inner City Press. They say, we did not get a set trial date today. This conference was the first of many that will be held. Assuming the case survives dismissal, we believe it will. And, of course, this is the OVO docket on behalf of Drake fans. That's who says we believe it will. They say, we will learn the trial date later. Okay? What is this here? They say Judge Vargas is correct in her assessment that the current discovery deadline is a bit aggressive. 6 months to depose 56 people and process all the evidence requested is a tough feat. A new deadline gives Drake's legal team more time to collect all relevant evidence and depose witnesses, okay? So that's the OVO docket. Here, we've got Inner City Press, who was present, all right? And remember, this piece here is from the original lawsuit that Drake filed with these photos of what he called harassment. He says, okay, heading to Drake versus UMG, case about Kendrick Lamar diss track, Not Like Us. Will Judge Vargas grant UMG's motion to stay discovery? Inner City Press on the case aims to live tweet, thread below. And he's going to reiterate some things, but just in more direct detail, as these will be direct quotes that he heard in the courtroom, okay? So he says the lawyers are in place. 3 for Drake at the front table, 3 for UMG at the back. All rise, Judge Vargas. I have a pending motion to stay discovery. Mr. Ransom, it's your motion. Ransom of Sidley for UMG. There has been a change. Plaintiff has essentially withdrawn his first complaint. So this is UMG's lawyer. They say that Drake has essentially withdrawn his first complaint, saying there will be a second one. So no discovery, right? Judge says, I generally don't stay discovery. Why should I? Okay, judge said, this is not something that I typically do in my courtroom. And this is something that I think is very key for people, even myself, to understand, is that not every judge is the same. Every legal lens that's going to be watching these proceedings is not going to be able to predict what's going to happen, because all judges are not the same. They don't all have the same perspective. They have different rules. They have different, you know what I'm saying, things that they look for in these cases, and some are lighter handed versus others that are more heavy handed. So UMG's lawyer says that Drake is amending speaks to the merits of our motion to dismiss. This song came out in May 2024. He didn't file until January 2025. There is no urgency. The judge says it's your burden. UMG's lawyer says they could have filed their amended complaint weeks ago. We would be burdened. They seek every document showing marketing for Kendrick Lamar. That's extraordinary. They seek compensation at Interscope. UMG's lawyer continues. Defamation cases are different. There is the First Amendment. Discovery should be stayed. Judge asks Mr. Gottlieb, which is Drake's lawyer. He says the test is if the defendant has shown the complaint is unmeritorious, facially without merit. The motion to dismiss in this case is entirely an attack on the factual allegations in the complaint. UMG says no listener will believe the allegations in the song, so there are factual disputes, so discovery should not be stayed. Okay? So here they have disagreements on whether or not the listeners would believe the allegations in the song of Drake being a PDF, right? That's the big thing, is he feels like he's taking a big financial hit due to being called a PDF and it being broadcast all over the world, and Kendrick Lamar gets to perform it at the Super Bowl. They played it at the Grammys when he's coming out on stage, and, you know, he's having the time of his life. Drake's lawyer continues. They have sent us a Rule 11 letter about only 5 paragraphs of our lengthy complaint. So they said that the Rule 11 letter that they sent in only covers about 5 paragraphs out of the entire complaint. He says about the use of streaming farms. We have exchanged letters. We intend to withdraw those, but it's a tiny portion of our complaint. Drake's lawyer continues. Their motion cites previous songs, so we intend to amend to address those and the Super Bowl halftime show. It was more defamation. They continued to promote the song after they'd been informed about the harm. So here, remember when we went over UMG's Stay for Discovery request, they talked about all of the previous rap battles that Drake had partaken in. They added citations of the lyrics in Drake's previous diss records towards other artists in the industry to show, hey, this is something that is pretty common in hip hop. He's partaken in this same activity. He's besmirched other people's names. He's talked down on other people's names. He's made violent threats towards other artists utilizing the same figurative speech about firearms, weapons, violence, all of these different things. And nobody else has ever had such an issue, right? That's UMG's response. They state they want to amend that part, right? But they say the Super Bowl halftime show was even more defamation, allowing Kendrick Lamar to go out on the Super Bowl stage, perform that song, double, triple, quadruple down on his stance that he's a PDF, which that's their interpretation of it, right? Is continuing to harm him after the label had already been informed that they feel that Drake has been suffering in their perspective. Drake's lawyer continues. My friend claims our requests are overboard, but it's no different than any other corporate or institutional defendant. An NFL case had 40 defendants. Here, it's a single defendant request, generally limited to 1 year. Okay? So he says this is pretty commonplace and nothing out of the ordinary. That's what they state. Drake's lawyer continues. We'd agreed to this court standard protective order. Defamation cases have an actual malice standard, and we've far more than met that. But there's no separate discovery rule in defamation cases. They are not a newspaper. They sell music. Judge says you say there are 16 RFP, requests for productions, pending any third-party discovery. Okay? And of course, requests for production are going to need, documentation to be submitted. Drake's lawyer, we've served 3 third-party subpoenas, and we are trying to serve a 4th. They will go forward if discovery is not stayed. We intend to depose a number of people. Judge says you propose fact discovery closing in October. Drake's lawyer, it's fast, but we are facing harm and want to move forward. So they're saying that they want to depose 56 people within 6 months. And the judge is saying that this is very aggressive, meaning that this really should take more time. But Drake's lawyer wants to get this done in a very quick fashion, right? So the judge says, in terms of the motion to dismiss schedule, you'll amend when? Drake's lawyer says April 16th. So we can expect by April 16th, which is the deadline for Drake and his team to submit their, amended complaint, to be talking about this all over again. Judge Vargas says then they move to dismiss by when? UMG's lawyer says we will have 3 weeks, then 14 for opposition, 7 days for reply, right? We went over that when we talked about all of that with the deadline. So April 16th, Drake will, somewhere around that time period, submit his new complaint. From that point, UMG will have 3 weeks to once again file motion to dismiss and give reasonable accounts as to why they feel that this has no merit, right? Then after that, 14 days will allow for Drake and his team to come out, speak for why they think this should proceed. After that, UMG will have 7 days to answer one final time to say, this is blasphemous, whatever, we don't agree, right? Now from there, I believe they may have gone on a break and then they come back. All rise, Judge Vargas says Drake is a top charting rap artist. He claims Not Like Us is intended to convey the message that plaintiff is a PDF. There are pleadings too from April to May 28th. UMG argues discovery is premature and sought to adjourn. Discovery is usually not stayed, cases cited. So they say all the examples of cases that they've presided over that, you know, they don't typically like to stay discovery. He says, but I have considerable discretion to do it if I find good cause. An unmeritorious claim, burden, and unfair prejudice. UMG seeks to dismiss all 3 counts. I cannot assess the strength. I cannot find on that basis that a stay of discovery is warranted. Here, there is only one defendant, which weighs against staying discovery. UMG can object to individual requests. The motion to stay discovery is denied. Okay, so the overall motion is denied. So they can't say, or they can't resist this discovery process. However, what UMG can do is object to individual requests, right? And remember, they have about 16 requests coming from Drake's side for discovery, paperwork, documentation, emails, text messages, cash transactions, all of those things, in which UMG can come out and say, hey, you've got all of these requests, but this one we object to, this one we object to, this one we object to, right? Judge Vargas says, I'll set an argument on the motion to dismiss for June 30th at 2 p.m. 6 months for discovery seems aggressive if 56 people were disclosed and might be deposed. So confer and file a new proposal, which seems like the judge wants them to extend that date out a bit further so that they can make sure that, the proper procedures are being upheld in these potential depositions. Okay? Now, in other Drake news, we all know that the Nokia music video is out. A lot of people have been analyzing the shots, the frames, the dance moves, the dancers, the looks that are happening in the video, the gestures that are happening in the video. A lot of people seem to feel like the majority of the video is trying to troll back at Kendrick Lamar, taking cues from Not Like Us, taking cues from the Super Bowl, taking cues from Squabble Up, etc. But not only is Drake trolling Kendrick Lamar, which seems to have been confirmed by Baca, we'll get to that in a second, but he's also trolling Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden. Okay, so here it says, Drake continues to troll Joe Budden. He released new Nokia some 60 songs merch last night with Melyssa Ford on it, with a website link that leads to Joe Budden's Patreon page. So as y'all can see, this is an old image of Melyssa Ford. I believe this is from King Magazine back in the days, if I'm not mistaken. And they used it as a hoodie design for their Some Sexy Songs for You, which was released by Drake Related, which is a page that updates all Drake information. You could go on the website and you could get this, I guess. But as you can see, there's this website that says videovixens.ca on it, which actually leads you to Joe Budden's Patreon page, which I find very interesting, giving him some free promotion. But new updates have been made, I guess, as the information began to circulate online about them leading to the Joe Budden Patreon, which I saw that last night. I clicked on it and it took you to the Joe Budden Patreon. It was definitely a lot of free promotion. I guess they gave him 24 hours of promotion to the Joe Budden Patreon page. Well, as of the recording today, when I clicked on it, it actually took me to Melyssa Ford's YouTube page. Remember, she has a podcast of her own, Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford. So I guess they're going to give her 24 hours of promotion for her podcast. So one day they gave Joe Budden some love. Today they're giving Melyssa Ford some love, which I would think they would give Melyssa Ford all the love since she's the image on the front anyway. You should have sent her a motherfucking check. You should have sent her an email asking for consent. But, you know, I guess that sounds a little bit too much like right. So Melyssa Ford actually weighed in on this in the new Joe Budden podcast episode where she speaks on wanting her bag.
No, I woke up to it. I woke up to that.
Got it.
She been doing a lot of waking up to shit, by the way. You know, she woke up to the shout out in Give Me a Hug. She woke up to being on Drake's hoodie design. I don't know, man. It might be safe for your ass not to sleep. How about that? But I'll continue.
Okay, that's fire.
Yeah.
I just checked it.
It's mad fire, nigga.
fire.
It goes to
Joe's
Yes.
nigga.
Yes.
Eating again.
Yes.
Nigga, he eating again.
Y'all boys.
Nigga eating again. That boy good. Some shit going on. You know what to do? He trying to cause real contention aside. Let me put this together so Flip and get mad. Yeah, nigga, I see you, boy.
What did you think? What did you think?
Don't try to change the subject. Don't do that.
It's the same subject.
Don't do that. I hate when you do that, nigga. Let it
the
sit.
hoodies.
Let it sit.
All right, my bad.
It goes to your Patreon, nigga. I typed it in directly, nigga. Lit.
I just typed it right now, and he's right.
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
that's super dope. I fuck with that.
Good. Just want to make sure you do.
Good looking out.
Your boy's good, man.
Why y'all look all weird in the
I am.
I don't even know what they talking about. I'm just reading your reaction to see if you bullshitting or not.
There's a jacket with my image on it, and underneath it, it says videovixen.ca. So .ca is .com in Canada.
Like a really old picture of Mel.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait,
all right.
Hello.
It is an old picture.
It's
Anyway,
a throwback.
it is an iconic photo of Mel.
Very nice.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So, anyways, you
good
click
word.
you click on that link, and it takes it to Joe's Patreon.
Y'all said that already.
What the fuck is going on?
Why y'all keep saying that?
What the fuck is going on? Where's my check? Where's my check? That's what I want to know. Where's my fucking check?
Hey,
That's what the fuck
now
I
we
want to
asking
know.
Drake the real questions.
Where is my check?
Hey.
Yes, checks.
Okay, so I guess sitting with the dick sucker ain't paying off the way you thought so, huh? I guess the post on IG ain't paying off the way you thought.
Hey, look at the camera.
CHEQUE.
Oh, that's
Okay, check.
Come on, Obs.
Canada, check.
So you didn't get paid for that?
No, I woke up to it, and I'm just like, I have bigger fish to fry than
Do you
this
think
shit
you
right
should?
now. Get paid for that?
That's why Mel's my favorite. nigga.
1,000 fucking percent.
Wait.
The item is for sale?
Apparently so.
But you don't own that picture.
Who says?
Mel,
photographer.
Mel, do you
didn't buy
own,
for
do
the-
you own that
You
picture?
didn't buy it from a photographer, man.
Mel?
You didn't buy it from that photographer.
Look at Mel.
The photographer
It's okay,
owns it.
girl.
The photographer owns the picture.
There's a possibility that I do own it.
Mel.
There's a possibility that I shot that from my first calendar.
Yo, my
I
girl.
believe you.
Yeah.
My girl coming in hot with some lies.
She probably owns it.
Mel know goddamn well. If she owned that shit, she would be on the phone. Hey.
Cease and desist.
I mean,
Oh, my Lord.
I sent a DM today.
Oh.
Girl, all right.
Baby girl.
Hell no.
All right, so let's try this a different way. Oh, man. Mark, do you have anything before I go? Do you have anything
No.
to say on the matter?
I believe you.
Put the shades on.
Look at Mark. All right,
The
this
light
is all
was
I'm
getting in
saying.
my eye.
I believe Mel too. I believe Mel too. This is what I'll say. If Holly Berry couldn't get when
Now y'all do remember the Halle Berry situation with the Slime You Out single cover. He chose that that photo of her getting literally slimed on Nickelodeon. Drake's team reached out to Halle Berry for her consent to use that as the single artwork. She declined. She says, I don't like that. I don't think you should use it. She, submitted that statement in good faith that they would actually go with that. And she woke up one morning and the song was out, still using her slimy image, right? So he has a propensity for not going with people's intentions of, you know what I'm saying, of not being used, which I find to be very interesting that he's suing people for defamation and harassment and, you know, wants to look into people's paperwork and feels like he's been done wrong. He's been taken advantage of. He's been shitted on. He's being ousted as some sort of PDF and all of this type of stuff, playing the victim. But yet he also is very experienced in placing others in the victim role against their will. So I find that to be strange, you know, not to say that the judge is going to look at these things in terms of the court case, but just from a humanistic perspective and a perspective of somebody who's actually watching all of this stuff and keeping track of what be happening, I do find it very interesting that he can play the victim, but then simultaneously on the same week be doing shit with other people's stuff. And I'm quite sure. I don't know if Mel owns that photo. Quite sure she probably doesn't. It's possible. But if that's the case, she definitely does. Somebody gonna get paid, whether it's her or the original photographer or the motherfucking owners of King Magazine or whoever. Somebody finna get paid off that motherfucker. I don't know if she is, but yeah.
Because he had posted Holly Berry. Because he posted Holly Berry's picture and she asked him, yo, hey, take that down. Hey, man, what's up with you? I didn't get paid. Can you just chill out? And he was like,
Nah, dude.
yeah, that's the nicer version of what he said. So now, you think you might be able to fare better in the instance?
Probably not. To be honest, probably not.
And remember, Halle Berry said she felt like Drake was a friend, that they had a really cool relationship in the industry over the years, and he still did that. So she came out and said that she felt very violated by the situation, and she didn't even understand why he would want to use that particular image.
Probably not.
And it did. It was a good looking hoodie.
Yeah, it's cute.
And shit, I hope that shit motherfucker sells, boy. Hey, type in the website.
That's
Type in the Melyssa Ford Drake website. I hope you niggas. Yo, y'all, boy.
I do like that picture.
Her girl, man.
I do like that picture. It's a cute picture.
All right, there's that. I'm not going to let that go any further, but I guess this kind of brings a little bit more credence to those of you that have been in the comments stating that you feel that Joe Budden and Drake are somehow in cahoots behind the scenes. You might be on to something, you know what I'm saying, with him trying to act like he don't know Chapo, right? Now, Drake comes out, drops this hoodie, videovixens.ca on it. It takes you straight to the Joe Budden Patreon, which could have took you to the YouTube, but it took people to Patreon. I can only imagine how many signups they actually got off of that traffic yesterday and part of today. Now, it's taking you to Melyssa Ford's YouTube page, which of course she's going to get paid off the ad revenue off the views, but she's going to get paid way less than if somebody signed up to join Joe's Patreon. Because you got to think people are paying anywhere between $5, $10, $15 for Joe's Patreon versus the way that ad revenue pays on YouTube. So he's going to end up coming out a little bit better than Mel in this situation, although she's the one in the image. Just being honest. So some people say, hey, Joe and Drake may have pieced it up behind the scenes because niggas is acting different. They being soft on topics, and then you get this free promotion going to their paid Patreon. Yeah, you might be on to something. But that's what I've got for y'all so far, man. Y'all know any advancements that take place in this case, I will be covering it. Any updates that take place, you know, in just the lexicon of hip hop, the conversation that's going on, I'll cover it. I'll be back, you know. And also, before doing this video, I actually conducted an interview with Marcus Clay. So for those of y'all that actually were tuned in a few days ago when I played Marcus Clay's freestyle over Not Like Us over on the Just Incredible freestyle, those of y'all that were here or saw the video with Ruben Vincent and Ninth Wonder, remember Ruben Vincent and Ninth Wonder both joined our chat. They were so gracious to come and actually interact with us in the premiere. Well, we've actually knocked out an interview with Marcus Clay, got into his history in the industry, dealing with Def Jam, being mentored by Lupe, Houston OGs looking out for him, all this stuff. So be on the lookout for that interview. I'm probably going to release that on Friday afternoon, so stay tuned. And we're going to continue to do this, man. You know, still trying to get things worked out with Chapo, still, you know, going to try to communicate with Ruben Vincent to get him on the channel. And I may have someone else interested in coming on and talking to us as well. I'm going to keep that one under wraps for now. But just be on the lookout for more inside the industry interviews to come, because we finna get locked in, and I'm really vying for that Megan Thee Stallion interview, as y'all been trying to. So I seen some people literally tagging me on her post. Man, that's fire. But whoever, you know what I'm saying? If I like you, I like your music, I like your movement, we can make it happen. Not everybody's gonna come on here though, be honest. But those that I, you know, feel like can offer something, we'll do it. All right. Much love and respect. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.